Thank you, Andres. That was beautiful. Thank you, Alvarado's, every week for leading our worship, leading the service, the liturgy. It's really beautiful. Thank you. So, Shabbat Shalom. Any words about the message today?
Yes.
I want to share something. Thank you, Peggy. Your drive was very good.
Thank you.
It's very pertinent for last day. And I want just to share something I heard yesterday for about the parasha Metzora Tazria, Tazria Metzora. The connection with the parasha Shemini the last week. That in last week we spoke about the kashrut law, about so the entering in a body. And the connection with this parasha today is that we spoke about what is go out of the body. We sing about the words of Rabbi Yeshua, when what is contaminated the man is not that enter, is what go out. And it's very, very pertinent that that we interesting that we are the people of God. We are knowledge, but because we where is go in that body, what we eat. We are know by because we know eat pork, we know eat many things, but what's better or is would be better if we are know, but what is going out of our body, what we spoke is that is contaminated man. It is for God is more, but is what's better for us to if we will know by we know spoke or what how we use our tongue. You understand what I say? If we are like God, people of God, we need to know because we don't spoke bad words, because we don't go spoke gossips, we don't go lashon ra with somebody. That is more value before God that we like we for us we like people of God. And I want to spoke some need that we have. Somebody in one country is you know that in Venezuela is no good situation now. It's very bad and it's worse every day. So somebody asked me help. Somebody asked me to ask to the congregation. That is that person told me that asked to the congregation to help because there is one woman that had is sick and need to money to ask the medicaments, the medicaments, the medicine.
Medicine, yes.
Medicine, okay. And so, Cesar, I want to ask you if you want to contribute with this person, and you can send me to the money. It's not, please. It's not. I don't ask in $50 or $100. Maybe $5 or $10 is good. We can together. We put one.
What does she have? What does she need? What is she sick with?
She have she had cancer. She had cancer, and she needed. But even the people that is sick with COVID now are very troubled because all the medicaments, the medicines are very expensive, and people have no money, and it's very difficult to find the medicine. They sometimes they need to go to the herbs to take the natural medicines because they don't have. But sometimes there is no enough. Like people with COVID need to have oxygen, and that is no, it's in the air, but need some equipments to breathe. So if you want, please send me the money, and I'm going to send to her. Okay. Thank you.
And those are the names that you asked for prayer?
And no, it's another.
If
The people that I asked to pray, they have the money. No, they have to. They are COVID, but they have the money to have but they need prayers only. But it's other woman.
Okay, send me her name too, please, and I'll put it.
Okay.
I'll pray. Thank you. Miriam, you were going to say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What you said was so powerful and relevant to me because I'm really in a battle where I choose life, but I've never felt so close to the possibility of not making it through this. And not only do I choose life, I'm going through everything I've ever done in my life. I've never examined myself so closely. And I'm in a very physically, I'm weak, I'm tired, but I want to choose life, and I choose life so desperately. I want to make it through this and be a richer, fuller, a person closer to God, still a fallible human being as ever, but I so want to choose life. I do choose life. I want to make it through this because sometimes I just don't know how. And at all costs, I don't want to be hospitalized because you know what they do in the hospital. And my prayer is not to be hospitalized, but sometimes I feel I can barely make it, but I choose life. Just saying, I choose life. Thank you for the message, Peggy.
You're welcome, Miriam. Yes, Karen.
I just wanted to say that I completely agree with a lot of what was said. And I just want to make the point that I do believe that there are times when you're sick and you know it's time for you to take a pause or reflect. And on another hand, I do believe that you really do get sick and that has nothing to do with it. And it's just about, you don't see it, but it's because your immune system needs to get a little stronger. And you might say, oh, what did you do wrong in your life? And other times it could just be, you just need to, you don't see the works of God's hand. And sometimes it's just honestly to up your immune system. You need to get sick in order to not get, maybe a worse illness of the same thing down the road or whatnot. So I just wanted to make that point, but it was a really good message. So.
Yeah, keeping our immune system strong is really important. And there are many things that we can take for that. There's our attitudes. There's so much that's involved in our physical well-being. It's not just one thing. We're body, mind, and soul all interconnected. And those are things that we need to work on every day of our lives. It's a process. Holly, you have something to say?
That was a great message. Thank you, Peggy, for sharing. I really like how you made the connection with what's happening in social media right now and how it's not even just, the news channels, but it's individuals tearing down other people's character, even within their own families, and how that correlates with being in this forced quarantine. And I liked how you said that. It made me pause and think, okay, instead of resenting the lockdown, how can I see it as an opportunity to check my own heart and make sure that I'm not being part of the problem? How can I be part of the solution and build people up, or just be curious about people who have a different opinion instead of thinking poorly of their character? So I liked how you made that parallel.
Thank you. Sometimes we need to tell somebody the truth about what they're doing. And and confront people. Sometimes we say things or do things that hurt others, but it's very difficult to tell them because it takes courage to do that. And we're afraid of the backlash. It happened to me just this morning. I got on the phone with a friend of mine before the message, and she was talking to me about things, and I knew exactly what was going on. And in the past, she's given me the right to tell her. And this morning, I told her what I saw. And she said, please do not bring that up again. I don't want to hear about it. So I guess what I need to do is to ask before I say something, do you want to hear my perspective? I think that sometimes I'm very impulsive and I just blurt things out. And I have to learn that people are not receptive to what we have to say unless they're asking. And the other thing is that I've noticed is that when you don't have a degree in something, or you don't have, in their eyes, you're not at a place where they look at you as a person of authority, it's very difficult for them to accept what you're saying. It happened with a cousin of mine after she lost her husband. It was a good year. It was after a year. And I had spoken to her about, because she was just feeling so guilty. And I told her, I know it's hard, but sometimes we just have to forgive ourselves and let it go. And then she called me a few weeks later. I'm so excited. I spoke to the rabbi and he said some things to me, and he just said, let it go. And it was like this, was lifted off of me. But because he's a rabbi and he speaks with authority, he said the same words that I had said, but because I don't sit in that place of authority with her, a prophet is never honored in their own home. So, and we have to understand also the words that we say to ourselves. It's absolutely unbelievable how we hypnotize ourselves. The things that are happening that we cause to ourselves, and we may not even realize, little thoughts that come into our minds. That's why I really believe it's so important to take every thought captive, listen to what we're saying, and if it's not the truth, ask God to show us, and don't accept all these things about ourselves. It's a constant process of growth. I've lived this June, Karen and I are celebrating our birthdays on the same day, June 10th. And this year will be my 74th year. It's just really hard to believe it because I don't feel it. I don't know what that feels like. I don't look it. But I do know that every day when we say yes to life and we continue to never say, I can't do that. Because sometimes we're afraid to step into a role or something that we haven't done before. And it presents itself to us. And if we say, no, I can't do this, and we don't even try, then we'll never grow. You cannot stop learning. We must continue on. And it's amazing what happens when you say yes to God, what he gives, when we use the little gifts that we have, how he continues to grow them and grow them. So never say no, always say, yes, I'm available, God.
I think that's a really super good point, because I use that in homeschooling too, when the kids say, oh, I'm too stupid for this, or I'm not good enough, and it's like, it's really important to teach them that they aren't just saying something, they're training their brains to think that they are not able.
Exactly.
When really just haven't practiced it. So I think that was really super good point.
Yeah, there's a difference between being ignorant, which means you just don't know, and being stupid.
Yeah, but everybody is already, has this a PhD on us, that is common sense. And some people forget to use that common sense. If people will use it more often, then, we wouldn't be in where we are right now,
The lack of common sense is probably my number one anger issue that I have to deal with. Just
yeah.
people with lack of common sense.
And the second thing is the free will. When God gave us the free will, and not even God dare to remove this from us, because it's up to us as part of His creation, to do, in a free will what we're supposed to do, and when you see that this free will it's not used, there must be something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it very often religious people have been taught not to think. It's blind faith. And I keep thinking about the people who stood at the base of Mount Sinai. None of them were PhDs. None of them were rabbis. They didn't come with all this knowledge. They had been slaves for 70 years. They had been used to having somebody else always tell them what to do. And God chose to speak to them, Jew and Gentile alike, at the base of Mount Sinai. He handed us the commandments that would serve to give us wisdom and common sense, that would teach us how to live with one another. These basic commandments are everything that we need. There's so many decisions that we can make in a better way if we have those. That's why I think that they're the foundation for everything that we do in life.
While you were talking right now, I was thinking about that sometimes we believe that Lashon Hara is talk against somebody else, but sometimes we talk against us.
Ourselves, exactly.
Yeah. So also we can be contaminated, we ourselves,
Yes.
for what we say about us. So we need to be care about this.
Yes, that's very true. I remember having a teacher. I always felt when I was young, growing up in my house, we had very little feedback about ourselves in any way. And I always felt stupid and ugly. I had dyslexia, so I couldn't read properly. My mother sent me to a professor after school to learn how to read. I did all these exercises. But I remember sitting one day with a teacher I think it was my first year of high school. And she said to me, you have a high IQ, you're smart. And it was the first time anybody ever told me that I was smart. And from that moment on, I started to look at myself different, but it's been a battle my entire life because I've always felt stupider than other people, that I could never live up to their expectations of me. And I was always speaking down to myself. And it's only in recent years that I've been able to look for the good that's in me, then God is using it. But it's a struggle when you haven't been given that as a kid. It's much harder later on in life. That's why it's so important what we tell our kids. I've heard mothers say to their kids, "Oh, you're so stupid. Oh, he's just shy." We every time a parent says something to that child, the child is open. It's like a state of hypnosis, and they believe. It's like when you go to a doctor, you can have two people who go to a doctor, and the doctor will say to that person, "You have 6 months to live." And if the person believes it, in 6 months they'll be dead. If they don't believe it, they go, "What's he talking about?" It's a completely different thing. It's amazing the power of the mind and what we do. So we have to really listen to what we say to ourselves. Right, Rudy?
Also, I would like to add something about Sarat. The Sarat is a disease that is not only for the Lashon Hara. And I don't know if you can read, Peggy, something about
in Russia.
this. Isaiah chapter 3 from 15 to 17.
Isaiah 3.
15 to 17.
What do you mean that you crush my people and grind the face of the poor, says the Lord God of hosts? Moreover, the Lord says, because the daughters of Zion are proud and walk with stiff necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go and making a tinkling, is that it? With their feet.
Yes.
Therefore, the Lord will strike them with a scab, the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will lay bare their secret parts.
Yes. So this is very interesting because it is, according to the Midrash, is talking about Sarat, and the proud is a problem also, because the proud makes you believe that you are better than the others, and
Right.
that sometimes is something that provokes you talk about against somebody else because you believe you are better than the other person, or you make a criticism against them. So, and I love the way because it's very graphic, people
Yes.
with the
Yeah.
neck.
Yes.
Right? So, and today is very, for example, I have seen many people watching persons with this neck, very, very, very proud, and also there's and they make a lot of um, sound. I'm here, and please reverence me. So that's something that provokes also this Sarat. And there was a king who was Uzias. We say that Uzias in Spanish. I don't know.
Uzziah.
Yeah, Uzziah. He was also inside the temple. We can read that in Second Chronics 26, verses from 16 to 21.
Second Chronicles. That's in the writings.
Yeah,
Second Chronicles 16.
26,
26.
26 verses 16 to 21.
And when he became strong, his heart became proud until he became corrupt, and he trespassed against the Lord his God. And he came into the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. And as Azariah the Kohen came after him, and with him were Kohanim of the Lord, 80 mighty men. And they stood beside Uzziah the king and said to him, it is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord, but for the Kohanim, sons of Aaron, who are consecrated to burn. Leave the sanctuary, for you have trespassed, and it will not be glory for you from the Lord God.
Mm-hmm. And then 19.
Oh, and Uzziah became
to
furious.
21.
And Uzziah became furious, and in his hand was a censer to burn. And in his fury with the Kohanim, the Zarat
Yeah,
shone upon his Tzarat shone upon his forehead before the Kohanim in the house of the Lord and over the altar of incense. And Azariah the chief Kohen and all the priests turned to him, and behold, he was stricken with Tzarat on his forehead. So they rushed him out of there, and he too hastened to leave, for the Lord had smitten him. And King Uzziah was stricken with Tzarat until the day of his death, and he lived in a house of retirement, for it had been decreed from the house of the Lord. And Joab his son was over the king's house, and he judged the people of the land. Wow.
Yeah, so we can see also here the saying the problem of the proud, and this man becomes very furious, and also he didn't want to obey the voice of the Lord, because he was the king, but the Torah said a king must have to write the Torah, so he can learn that. But that means to be humble, right? And so, and he was not humble, and he wanted to take a role that he was not called to,
Right.
because he was king, he was not a priest, but he wanted to present Ketoret inside the house of the Lord. So according to the Torah, he was not allowed to do so. So he was a very proud person, and then he become rebel before the Lord, and the Lord punished him with Sarat.
Wow.
So there's also a connection, not only for Lashon Hara, but also proud, as you can see, um, and do not take a role, but probably can produce Sarat also. And then there is something else inside the when we try to deceive the Lord. How can we know that? There's a portion about Elisheva and his servant Jesse that we can read in Second King. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
uh,
Second
Second
King.
King, chapter 5,
Okay.
verses from 20 to 27. Okay, here there's a
Right.
captain of the series,
Yes.
Naaman. He was healed.
Right.
He was with Sarat, right? And the problem of this man was the proud, because he didn't what he tried to buy the Lord, and he offered a lot of money, and then he said, I don't want to go to the Jordan to be washed.
Right.
I'd rather to go, there are better in Syria,
Better river.
rivers.
Yes.
Yeah. And until he was humble, that was the medicine for this man to be clean.
Yes.
And in here Elisheva didn't accept the money, because for him
Elisha.
was
Elisha.
Elisha, yeah, he didn't want to accept the money, right? So but Gessi was the person, the most qualified, I could say, person to be the next prophet after Elisha,
Right.
but he had problems with money,
Right.
right? So and that is what we can learn from verse 20 to 27.
Yes. And
So
Gehazi.
yeah,
Sorry, you had more you want me to read, or you want?
no, please, you read it.
And Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, thought, here my master has stopped Naaman the Aramean from giving by not taking from his hand what he bought. As the Lord lives, I will run after him and take something from him. And Gehazi chased after Naaman, and Naaman saw him running after him, and he leaned over the chariot toward him and said, all is well? He said, all is well. My master sent me, saying, here, just now 2 youths have come to me from Mount Ephraim of the disciples of the prophets. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 suits of clothing. And Naaman says, please take 2 talents. And he urged him, and he tied 2 talents of silver in 2 pockets and 2 suits of clothing. And he gave his 2 servants, and they carried them before him. And he came to a secret place, and he took them from their hands, and he deposited them in the house. And he dismissed the men, and they went away. And he came and stood before his master. And Elisha said to him, where are you coming from, Gehazi? And he said, your servant has gone neither here nor there. And he said, did my heart not go when a man turned around off his chariot toward you? Is it time to take the silver and to buy clothing and olive trees and vineyards and sheep and cattle and slaves and manservants? Now Naaman's sa'arat shall cling to you and to your children forever. And he went away from him, stricken with sa'arat, white as snow. Wow.
So the problem is that also Lashon Hara is to lie, right?
Right.
um, and also there is a covet. Covet, you say, right? When you decide that the others' possessions.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, to be jealous,
yeah,
to covet, right.
yeah. So, so this is another problem that provokes sarat. You know, um, and here this man wanted to deceive not only to the prophet, but to God. So they were making Hilul Hashem. They were profanating the name of the Lord. So with their action, right? So it is very important that um, that that we don't have these problems, because we can learn different way how people can 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 uh, can get sick from sarat, right?
Yes,
Eh, so not to lie, not to be proud, not to try to deceive God, and things like that. And if we can see something about the the medicine the prophet had, the first part is that this person must be uh, isolated. You said when there's a right, uh, this person must be alone, because the sarat contaminates other people. So the first medicine is to protect others. So, but this person need to go alone, and then he needs to recognize he was unclean, right? He was impure, and then after that, this person make teshuvah, because you know, the Hansen, there's no, is a degenerative sick
degenerative disease, it hits the nerve endings.
disease. So nobody can be healed with Hansen, but with Sarat we can see that they can be clean.
Right.
So they made teshuvah, and they go to the priest and present. They said an offering, that means a korban. They need to go to before the Lord, may a hata, because it makes that you recognize you made a mistake, right? Then you put your hands in. But there's something very interesting about the medicine. They said that they need to have hyssop. You say hyssop in English?
His,
Hyssop? Yeah, hyssop.
hyssop,
Uh,
the herb that,
yeah, the herb, yes,
yeah,
the little herb, which is to be humble,
right,
because the hyssop is a very tiny
plant,
herb
or
plant.
tree, yeah.
So, so that makes sense when we read in Tehillim or Psalms 51, something very that I love. Psalms 51:7. I don't know if you can read it, please.
Yes. Behold, with iniquity I was formed, but with sin my mother conceived me.
Psalms 51,
Yeah,
51, please.
mhm,
Yeah, verse 7.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I have here.
okay. I think I have another. Let me
Oh,
check.
no, 9, verse 9, purify me with the hyssop,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
will become
yeah.
pure. Wash me, and I will become whiter than snow.
Yeah. So this person is talking about the sarat. That's why is a connection with this parasha of
Right,
this psalm, because he was saying, clean me with a hyssop, clean me with something that is humble, to be uh, to take out my proud. That's
yeah,
what he's trying to say,
yeah.
and
I
and then I will be clean. In the words here are purity and clean, and purity, to be pure
Pure.
and to be clean, right? Which is only, is not a moral attribute, but is just death and life,
Right.
right?
I
So,
remember, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
and then it says, clean me with what? Water, because that's what the Torah says.
Right.
Clean me, please, with water, wash me, and then I will be whiter than the snow, right? So, and why white? Because the Sarat was white. Remember about the he was watching the person's the if he was white or not, right?
Right.
So that's the point here. He's talking about Sarat. That's something very very nice about this psalm. And when you connect with this parasha, is you can make sense,
Wow.
okay, about what they saying.
You know, one of the things I was thinking of, Alejandro had brought up a point. I don't know if it was in Shemini or when he spoke about it, but I remember it's like we're not to be too proud and we're not to be the opposite, like too insecure. It's a balance. And I remember Rabbi Percy would tell us about, you know, everything has to be put in context. Like he would say, greed is not always bad. It depends how greed is used. If you use it if you look at it in the way it makes you work harder to attain something that you want, it's not a bad thing. The same with pride. For me, pride, if it's too much, it makes us over proud, too much. But if we take it away completely, we have no self pride. We have no, it's not the word in itself is not a bad thing. It's what we do with it, how we see it.
Exactly. We like you say, the pride is good when you have low or self-esteem. No,
Yes.
you
Yes.
need to be proud of you, but we need the balance, not too much, not too low. But we need, like this, the Torah said, you love your neighbor as yourself. So you cannot love your neighbor if you don't love yourself.
Exactly.
But where is the bad thing? When you think that you are superior than the other.
Right.
Okay?
Or good for nothing.
When you recognize your talents, you recognize your value, you recognize that you can, but you not compare with the others.
Right.
It's to find your mission in the world.
Exactly.
In my opinion, I think that the enemy that we have, number one, is the ego. And I'll tell you why. Because if we believe that our creator made the whole entire creation, okay, with one consciousness, with one unity, that everything it has to be unit. And so then the number one enemy of this creation, it will be something that will make this creation divide, or something that it will make this unity of with our creation separate. And the only thing that makes that, it's when individual becomes too egocentric, which means that the individual starts to becoming more important than the entire creation, or the entire all more than other people, when you become, and that follows with pride, that follows with belief that you are better than others. And that is the reason why humanity is so divided right now. This is the reason why there is so much people believing that a race is better than other. It may have different characteristics, that for sure, because different places, different it depends all about the culture and all that, the influence that, you know, religion, and that is what is making all, you know, all of us separate.
But
And
the problem, Angel, I don't believe, and we talked about it, I think, before in a couple of weeks ago. It's not the ego itself, because we need the ego for our own identity. It's like you said, the superego, when it becomes out of balance. Because without ego, how do we identify ourselves as who we are?
You know, I see a relation between plants.
no, but confusion.
I'm speaking. I don't know why, I just see things through plants. You can ask him. Almost every reference I have is to plants. And I was thinking about this just a little while ago. I was talking, sorry, I have a chick in my hand and it's not doing too great. Anyway, let me speak. You're interrupting with the chick now.
Go ahead.
I just always refer to plants. I feel like I get a lot of messages through plants. I don't know, not through them, but you get the point, like references. And I really think that when it comes to pride and the conversation I was having with a friend a while ago about, you know, owning things and materialistic, whatever, and just pride and ego. And I was thinking of onions and how when they start growing, they grow this beautiful little bud that's going to turn into this amazing flower, but you have to cut it off. It's really hard, but you have to cut the prettiest part of that plant off in order to get the benefits of an actual onion.
Right.
And there's a time for that flower later on for it to grow. You can have another, 2 years, you'd have your flower for seeds. But if you're not looking for seeds, you got to cut off the prettiest part. Anyway, I was just thinking of that and how it refers to, it's not bad to have pride in something. It's just not good to live above everyone.
But that's, yeah. When I say to my granddaughter, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of the things that she's doing. I want her to feel good about herself, but not better than others. There has to be a balance in how we look at it. Anyone else have something to say for today? It was a really good teaching this week. Beautiful message. Holly, you're all right? How are you feeling, honey? Good. I'm glad. Iona, you feel okay? Good. Sarai is happy. She's met a very nice person in her life, and we're very excited for her. And we pray that it will go well. She was praying and praying and praying, and God answered her prayer. What a wonderful thing. We just have to keep praying that it'll all go well. Yanet, you're doing well. Baruch Hashem. Baruch, there you are. How are you today, Baruch? Did you say hi to everyone? You have to unmute yourself, Baruch.
Everybody there?
Everybody's here.
Was I supposed to read? Because I couldn't read it.
No, you did. It wasn't your turn today. I didn't choose you this week. This month. I'll choose you next month. By the way, just as a reminder about the Yertzites, the Kaddish. Now that Rhonda is retired, and we wish her all the best. Rhonda, I want to thank you in front of everybody for all the wonderful work that you've done all these past years. And now Rhonda she's still with us in our community, but she's just stepped down from her position, as I said, of secretary. So now, as of yesterday, she is a free entity. And yes, although she can't go.
Was that her grandchild walking behind her before?
What, Brian?
I saw her grandchild walking behind her when she was on.
Yeah,
they're here.
She's there. And we
That's
welcome
David, what do you call her? Yashi?
Shashi.
Joshi.
Shana.
Yashi.
Shoshana, or Shoshana, which means rose. That's her name.
Shoshana.
So from now on, with the Kaddish, if you have someone that you're saying Kaddish for, I sent out the names to everybody who was on our list. You send it to me a week or 2 weeks before so that I could put it on the list for us to say Kaddish. And everybody understand what Kaddish is? Is anybody not clear about what it is?
It's when the person died.
Yes, when somebody that we love passes away, we take that date, the Hebrew date, and every year we say it's called a Yahrzeit, which is the yearly memory. We light a candle. We have a special small candle that we light. It's a tradition, but it's a beautiful one. We light a candle and we say that prayer, remembering them. We say Kaddish. And usually,
My mother's date is the day Hitler died.
oh yeah, you never gave it to us.
When Hitler was born, my mother died on that day.
I know. Well, I don't really celebrate Hitler in any way, so you'll have to give me the date if you want us to say Kaddish for him, for her, and her name, okay? So everybody will be responsible for sending me the names. And anything else, any other special prayer requests before we go? We'll continue to keep Miriam in prayer, Venezuela. And we have a very special connection with Venezuela through the Alvarado family, through the Diaz family. And we pray that, this won't happen here in our country, because it really could happen anywhere. When leaders become dictators and they want all the power for themselves, we're living in a world that really needs to take notice of what it's doing, because it's a spiritual war that we're in. So we need to keep praying for our own countries. How are things in El Salvador?
Yeah, right now it's better because we started this week the vaccination of the population.
Okay.
So that is very nice. They are vaccinating 10,000 persons per day. So is something good. My dad and my mom already get the vaccine, and also, it is, thanks God, they are good. They didn't have any complications, and right now they are vaccinating person above 60 years old. So it is good right now, but the problem is that economy is not really good right now here, because we are now the last year the economy was closed. So today we are start to seeing the effects of the closure, right? Because the production and the inventories and things like that are lower. So right now, for that say, is more or less the economy. But at least we are not so bad as other countries in the region, and or like Venezuela, right? We have a lot of things here, so we are praying for that. And please, just I'm better also. Thank you for your prayers. I was diagnosed with sinus.
Infection?
Yeah, sinus. I have problems with sinus, and already take medicine, and I'm better right now, much better. So
Good.
Thank you for the prayers also.
You're welcome. Good. I know that Holly, your friend Natalie, the airport was closed in Guatemala because of a volcanic eruption there. And I think, she hasn't, I know she's supposed to return home soon. So that's why I asked you if that was going to affect you, Mauricio. I didn't know how, because volcanoes affect a lot of people when they erupt. Anyway.
We have in El Salvador, there are 5 volcanoes active right now.
Wow.
In Guatemala, there's more because probably there are like 8. I don't know, but I know that in Guatemala there's a volcano who has lava, and you can see the lava, the rivers of lava there.
Yes.
So they are very dangerous. But here in El Salvador, there's a lake, Ilopango Lake, which in the well, a lot of people comes to El Salvador just to dive into the lake because it's very there's a tree, a lot of trees down because in this lake at around 1,500 years more or less before the Spanish comes to El Salvador, it was a very big volcano, and then all the volcano just come down and explode, and probably that's made disappear the Mayans here in Central America.
Wow.
Right now it's active because there are 5 volcanoes inside that lake.
Wow.
And you know there's a current very hot inside the lake, and it's active. You know, it's something that we don't know when, but experts says that this explosion can go and can be very destructive for, well, all El Salvador will be wiped out. That's what they say.
Wow.
I don't know. So we're praying that it takes a lot of time.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. It reminds me of the documentary that I watched of Simcha Jacobici, the one where he talked about at the time of the Exodus, the volcano, the Santorini volcano erupted, and all that occurred, all the plagues that came afterwards from that. And you wonder, we're making such a mess of this world that we see the volcanic eruptions. Yeah, well, God knows. Miriam, you showed your face for a few minutes. You want to just say goodbye to everybody before we sign off? You still there? Good to see you. Oh, I'm glad you're eating. Hooray. But you're on mute. We can't hear you.
My body is in like really hypoglycemia. I'm in a very, I have to eat regularly or I get very
Good.
low.
Good.
You got low blood sugar.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Yanet.
Miriam, are you eat something?
Yes, because my blood sugar goes very low.
Oh, okay.
I'm really in a battlegrounds. I'm at war.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're continuing. I've been begging God for you.
Thank you. I appreciate all your prayers. I've never been through anything like this.
And you need something? We can read something.
I'm fine. I'm very good.
You're okay? You don't need anything that we can go shopping for you?
Not right now. Maybe soon.
All right, you let me know. Let us know.
Okay.
Well, everybody, you have a wonderful week. You look beautiful, Yanet, as usual.
Thank you.
And me,
And you too, you look beautiful.
without her.
Yeah. And Rhonda looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Rhonda, you
Thank
look
you.
beautiful too. Wow.
Thank you. And Karen looks beautiful.
Where's Karen?
Karen probably left to take care of the chickies.
Hi, Baruch.
And Holly has a new puppy called Poppy.
Oh.
She has puppies, a dog, cats, chickens, children. She's a busy puppy.
Yeah.
Ay, I like it.
Priscila, ¿cómo estás? Priscila no está allá.
Priscilla, I can see her.
Salió tantito, ahorita
Okay.
regresa.
Regresa, okay.
Sí. Hola.
All right, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Love you all. Thank you.
Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you.
shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom. Thank you for your prayers. Love you.
We
Love you.
continue
Love
to
you
pray
too,
for you,
Miriam.
Miriam.
Thank you. I love you.
Me too.
Gracias.